There's a moment you don't notice at first. Everything feels normal until it doesn't. A single thought slips in quiet, almost harmless, but it doesn't leave. It lingers and begins to grow. Your chest tightens, your focus fades, and suddenly your mind is no longer a safe place. You try to think clearly, but your thoughts start racing, looping, overwhelming you. You're still sitting in the same place, yet internally something has taken over. This isn't just stress. This is the moment anxiety takes control and your mind slowly starts slipping away from you. It doesn't arrive all at once. There's no clear line where calm ends and anxiety begins, just a quiet shift you barely notice. Your breathing becomes slightly uneven, your body a little tense, as if it's preparing for something you can't see. Thoughts start stacking on top of each other, faster than you can process them. You try to focus on what you were doing, but your attention keeps slipping, pulled back into the same loop again and again. It might be something small, a message you haven't replied to, a mistake you keep replaying, or a future moment you can't control. And somehow, it all starts to feel urgent. Your mind treats it like a threat, even if part of you knows it isn't. That's the strange thing about anxiety. It doesn't ask for permission. It quietly takes control, turning ordinary moments into something heavy, something difficult to escape. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already inside it. And once you're inside it, your mind doesn't slow down, it accelerates. Thoughts begin to repeat, not because they're useful, but because your brain is searching for certainty it cannot find. You replay conversations, analyze small details, and imagine outcomes that haven't happened. Each thought feels important, like if you could just solve it, the feeling would go away. But it doesn't. Instead, the loop tightens. Your attention narrows, locking onto what feels wrong, uncertain, or unresolved. Even when nothing is actually happening, your mind acts as if something is about to. It prepares you for danger that isn't there. And the more you try to think your way out of it, the deeper you fall into it. Because anxiety doesn't respond to logic the way you expect it to. It feeds on attention. And without realizing it, you're giving it exactly what it needs to grow stronger. As the thoughts intensify, your ability to function begins to fade. Simple tasks start to feel heavier than they should. Making decisions becomes exhausting, even small ones. You might open something, then close it. Start something, then stop halfway. It's not a lack of discipline, it's overload. Your mind is trying to process too much at once, and it begins to stall. Like a system pushed beyond its limits, it slows down to protect itself. This is where confusion sets in. You wonder why you can't just push through, why everything feels harder than it used to. But beneath that frustration is something quieter, your brain attempting to shield you from what it perceives as too much. And instead of moving forward, you remain stuck, not because you want to, but because your mind doesn't know how to move safely anymore. This is where anxiety shifts from noise into silence. The racing thoughts that once filled your mind begin to blur together, and in their place comes a strange kind of stillness. Not peace, but disconnection. You feel distant from your surroundings, like you're present but not fully there. Conversations become harder to follow. Time feels slightly distorted. It's as if your mind has stepped back, creating space between you and everything around you. This is the freeze response, often overlooked but deeply powerful. When fighting feels impossible and escaping feels out of reach, your mind chooses to pause, to conserve energy, to reduce impact. From the outside, it may look like nothing is happening, but inside, this is your system trying to stabilize itself. It's not failure, it's not weakness. It's a protective mechanism working quietly, doing its best to keep you from becoming completely overwhelmed. What makes this experience even more difficult is how invisible it is to others. From the outside, you might seem quiet, distracted, or unmotivated. People may assume you're avoiding things or not trying hard enough. But they don't see the constant tension running beneath the surface. They don't feel the weight of every thought or the effort it takes just to stay present. This creates a gap between what others see and what you're actually experiencing. And in that gap, misunderstanding grows. You might start questioning yourself, wondering if you're overreacting or making it worse than it is. But anxiety often hides in plain sight. It doesn't always show up as panic. Sometimes it shows up as silence, as stillness, as a quiet struggle that goes unnoticed, even though it's taking everything you have just to manage it. Over time, this pattern can start to feel familiar, not comfortable, but known. You begin to recognize the signs, the early shifts in your thoughts and body. Yet even with that awareness, stopping it isn't easy. Because anxiety isn't just a habit, it's a response your brain has learned, a way of trying to stay in control when something feels uncertain. And uncertainty is everywhere. The future, other people, outcomes you can't predict. Your mind tries to prepare you for all of it at once, not realizing that in doing so, it overwhelms itself. But awareness is still important, not as a way to immediately fix what you're feeling, but as a way to understand it, to see the pattern instead of getting lost inside it. And slowly, that understanding creates space, small at first, but enough to begin shifting your relationship with it. Because the goal isn't to eliminate anxiety completely. It's to change how you meet it when it arrives. Instead of resisting it or getting pulled into every thought, you begin to notice it differently. You see the moment it starts, the way it builds, the patterns it follows. And in that noticing, something subtle changes. You're no longer completely inside the experience, you're also observing it. That distance matters. It doesn't make the feeling disappear, but it makes it less consuming. Your thoughts may still race, your body may still react, but you're not as lost in it as before. And over time, that shift becomes powerful. Not because it gives you full control, but because it gives you a choice, a way to respond instead of just react. And sometimes that small difference is enough to change everything. So when that moment comes again, and it will, remember this, your mind isn't turning against you. It's trying to protect you in the only way it knows how. The overwhelm, the shutdown, the silence, they all have a reason. And the more you begin to understand that, the less control it has over you. Because even in the middle of anxiety, there is still a part of you that can observe it, question it, and slowly begin to move through it.